round 12, round 11 out of 12 of the World Championship, and it's absolutely crucial to two men. Freddie Spencer, world champion in 1983, and Eddie Lawson, the reigning world champion. There is Didier de Radiguez, the Belgian, one of the leading contenders in the championship, and that is Eddie Lawson himself on the V4 Yamaha, 140 horsepower, and he has got to win this race to keep his world championship hopes alive. Can he do so? Well, there is the man that's going to do everything he can to stop him. The reigning 250 world champion, Freddie Spencer, who clinched that championship at Silverstone last weekend, and he wants to regain the 500cc world championship that he lost to Eddie Lawson last year. So out onto a dampish but drying track go Raymond Roche, Rob McElhenney there on the Suzuki, Wayne Gardner, and Ron Haslam. Rocket Ron, the man who always makes such a lightning start, but unfortunately so very seldom stays there. Franco Uncini, the world champion of 1982, out on his Suzuki. Now this is going to be a 30-lap race over this 2.5-mile circuit. The lap record is held by Kenny Roberts, the brilliant American 3-times world champion, and now they're on their warm-up lap. And you can see what I mean by flat and featureless. There's actually an airstrip which goes right into the circuit, and the good thing about it, a lot of the riders say, is that it makes it very easy to get away from, because it's not the most popular circuit in Britain, in the world. So it's very, very hard on brakes, is this Anderstorp circuit. Freddie Spencer on the V4 Honda, but that is Ron Haslam, and there are the Yamahas, because there were some last-minute tyre changes being made to get the right compound. There's a notice there that says Freddie Spencer, go home. Nice sporting comment from the crowd as the technician brings out yet more tyres, and Freddie Spencer is having some fitted to his incredibly fast V4 Honda. A different kettle of fish altogether to the V4 Honda that he crashed last year and therefore failed to compete in this Swedish Grand Prix. And it was here that Spencer won in 1983 the World Championship by beating Kenny Roberts. So, all set for the 30 laps. Watch the left, because that's where Ron Haslam is on the V3-cylinder Honda, and he is famous for his lightning starts. And we're looking from Mamola's bike. This is the radio camera, and sure enough, it's number 5, Ron Haslam, who goes into the lead from Bert van Doelman. Freddie Spencer in 3rd position, Randy Mamola with the camera aboard in 4th position, and Eddie Lawson, the world champion, in 5th place, and he's got to do a lot better than that. Well, from the left-handed Hansen corner, they go down to the carousel, then round the Gislavec corner, which they're on now, and it's Haslam leading, it's Spencer in 2nd place, it's Lawson coming up fast into 3rd position as they go round the South Bend, and then from the South Bend down the very, very fast flight straight. And there is Mamola's view, and he's catching now Raymond Roche, who's in front of him, and Eddie Lawson, both of them on the Yamahas, as the crowd, and it's not a very big crowd, and look at that. Heel right over, you can see the rev counter reading 9.5, 10,000 RPM, and on the fast straight they're doing just under 190 miles an hour. That's how quickly they're going. And now the course is absolutely dry, the conditions are good, it's very windy. Ron Haslam, number 5, leading, and you see his bike almost wheeling as he feeds in the power, and that's Freddie Spencer on the left on the V4. And if he stays ahead of Eddie Lawson, he's going to win the World Championship and become not only a 2-times winner of the 500cc event, but the first ever 250 and 500 champion in the same year. The rider's eye view, and the rider is Mamola. And across the line, lap 1, it's Haslam, followed by Freddie Spencer, followed by Lawson, followed by Bert van Doelman, then there's Raymond Roche, and Spencer catching Ron Haslam. And Spencer, I think, is just biding his time, because it's quite clear that now, with only Haslam in front of him and with a very much faster machine, he can, metaphorically and practically speaking, turn up the wick and go for it whenever he likes. He looked over his shoulder there and saw behind him Eddie Lawson, who's catching the two leaders, Ron Haslam and Freddie Spencer. So it's the V3 Honda, the leading, the V4 Honda in second place, then the V4 Yamaha. And now Freddie Spencer has got ahead of Haslam, and there, looking across the circuit, was Lawson catching Haslam, and this is Mamola right behind Raymond Roche. So both the Yamahas are in the top 6, and Mamola on the V3 Honda, V4 Honda, cranked right over as the leader, Freddie Spencer. He's in a class of his own today, and virtually every day is Freddie Spencer. And what incredible stamina this young 23-year-old man from Shreveport, Louisiana has got. He hasn't ridden in the 250 race at Sweden. That was won by Anton Mang, the German, yesterday, because Spencer felt there was no need for him to go out in the 250 and risk getting tired when everything depended on his success in the 500cc race. And it looks now as though Freddie Spencer only had to put on a copybook performance for the rest of the race, because look at the gap that existed between himself and the second place man now, Eddie Lawson, as they came through. There's Lawson in the red leathers on the red Yamaha. Now, what Spencer always likes to do is build up about an 8 or 9 second cushion between himself and the man who's in second place. He goes across the line to complete another lap. Lawson second, Mamola Haslam still hanging on in third position. Raymond Roche has still got Randy Mamola behind him. So both the two Yamahas, the two works bikes, and there is Roche. And off goes somebody, can't identify from this point, but he looks perfectly all right. And now the marshals will have to drag the bike out of the way, and Freddie Spencer goes on his victorious way with that distinctive style of his, knee right out. That's to keep the bike as upright as possible, keep as much rubber on the road as possible, because if you've got 140 horsepower, at least some say 150 horsepower of this V4 Honda under your right fist, it takes a lot of handling. Spencer started this race with 20 points advantage over Eddie Lawson, the Yamaha reigning world champion, but it looks as though Lawson isn't going to be world champion for very much longer. If Spencer wins this race, if Spencer therefore becomes the 500cc world champion, it will have been an absolutely amazing season for him, because he has done the double already in the 250 and 500cc classes 5 times, absolutely unparalleled in motorcycle racing. And here he comes completing another lap. And Lawson behind him. Still not all that much difference between Freddie Spencer leading, Lawson second, but Ron Haslam is dropping back, and now Mamola has got a perfectly clear circuit in front of him. And Spencer, by now, right in the racing rhythm. He's actually lapping some 10 seconds outside Kenny Roberts' 128.2, 119.5 mile an hour lap record, and already lapping tail enders. And that was Franco Uncini's bike, lap 12, the previous world champion. That's the HB Suzuki. So coming up to roughly half distance, lap 15 half distance, and that's lap 12 when Uncini goes down. But now on the 28th lap, coming up on the 28th lap to start the 29th and last lap but one, Freddie Spencer is making the Swedish Grand Prix and the World Championship his own. Now, Barry Sheen says that it doesn't look nearly as tricky going round those right-handers with power on and the bike wobbling like that as it looks. I'll take his word for it. But Spencer is certainly not slowing up very much. He's eased the pace by about 1 second from the 138 to the 139, which he's riding now. He's on his 29th lap, as he goes round the left-hander at Giselavet, onto the south bend, then onto the flight straight, that very long and fast straight, which leads down to the peculiarly named Grandpa's Corner, and that in turn leads on to Atlas Corner, and then the start and finish line. And when Freddie Spencer goes across that, he will only have 2.5 miles to go before the completion of the Swedish Grand Prix, and if he finishes where he is now, an absolutely superb victory, which will give him the 500cc World Championship. So there is Spencer at work on a completely dry track now. He can use all the power with the cloud scudding overhead that his V4 Honda engine will give him, take a wide berth round the tail enders, give himself plenty of room and the maximum safety, because he really hasn't got very far to go now before he achieves his goal and his objective, which will take him on into 1986. And his objective then will be to make it 3 500cc World Championships in 3 years, to which he will add this year's 250. So now Spencer is into the start bend at the right-hander. He's on his last lap. He makes his way now up to the left-handed Opel bend, underneath the bridge, into the Opel bend now. Spencer took the lead from Ron Haslam on the second lap. He's making his way now up to Hansen Corner, the left-hander, then into the long, looping, seemingly never-ending right-handed Carousel bend, which leads up to the left-handed Giselavet Corner. And having taken that lead from Ron Haslam on the second lap, all Freddie Spencer had to do was to keep an eye on Lawson. He didn't, in fact, need to win, although he's always said that he was going to go for it in the closing stages of the championship, and that is precisely what he has done and what he is now doing. This is the south bend, past the parked aircraft, into flight straight. It's undoubtedly going to be yet another 500cc victory for the brilliant Freddie Spencer on the tremendously powerful V4 Honda. He's down the flight straight for the last time, up out of the bubble, out goes the knee, into Grandpa's Corner, the right-hander, down the little short straight into Atlas Corner. There's some tail-enders who would soon have been lapped by Spencer as we look back down the line for number 4. Out goes the checkered flag. Freddie Spencer wins the Swedish Grand Prix and becomes the 1985 500cc World Champion. An absolutely superb performance. And Eddie Lawson finishing a long, long way back. Just look at the gap as the start and finish official looks down the track, wondering if anybody's ever going to come through. Well, he does, and it is Eddie Lawson, who thereby finishes second in the 1985 World Championship. But victory for Freddie Spencer. He's done it. Nobody ever really doubted that he would, although last season he hurt himself, as a result of which he only finished 4th in the World Championship. But now, having done the wind-down lap into the paddock to take the plaudits of the crowd, and how very, very well deserved they are. Freddie Spencer draws to a standstill in front of his Rothmans Honda team personnel. Out go the umbrellas. It's actually quite warm now that the track has dried out, and so as the Swedish Air Force fighters, with a blue sky above them, fly past to salute the world's first ever 250 and 500cc world champion in the same year, we too salute the victorious Freddie Spencer, after what has been for him an incredible season to make him one of the greatest motorcycle racers that the world has ever seen. Well, Spencer's given everybody a target that's going to be very, very difficult to hit, and that is beat me. 250 world champion, 500cc world champion, all in the same year, and I have little doubt that he can do it again, as Eddie Lawson congratulates him.
And that victory for Freddie Spencer confirms him as the 500cc world champion. Remember, Spencer has already taken the 250cc world title, a record-breaking performance from him. Second was the champion last year, Eddie Lawson. Britain's Ron Haslam in third place, Christian Saron fourth, Randy Momola fifth, Didier de Rodriguez was in sixth place. At championship table confirming Freddie Spencer, the world 500cc champion, once again ahead of Eddie Lawson and Christian Saron. Ron Haslam holding fourth place, and there's just one round left in that 500cc World Championship. That's the San Marino Grand Prix at Misano in September.